Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 90% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences, such as case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to website in seconds, let the artificial intelligence do all the work, get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us out on pathmonk.com. On today's episode of Pathmonk Presents, I've got a very special guest with me joining today. Please welcome Ed George, who is the head of marketing at Tutti. So, for all of you who don't know, Tutti is all about unlocking amazing spaces for content creators and artists, and being able to hire them for their film, their photo shoots, rehearsals, and so much more. Ed, thank you so much for joining us today. It's an honor to have you on our show.
Thank you for having me. It's great to be here.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure. So for all of our listeners out there, tell us, what does Tutti do overall?
So, Tutti is a platform which is dedicated to helping creative people save time by building amazing technology tools that simplify the creative process. We found from a lot of research that a lot of the creative processes are often very convoluted and complex, and often very manual heavy, and we have essentially set out to try and address as many of those as possible.
That's incredible. So in terms of your clients, who are they? What industries do they mainly come from?
So in the context of our marketplace product, where we provide spaces to creatives, our main prospects, I guess, would be video producers, photographers, and musicians, at which we help them find spaces they can shoot, film, record, and create it.
So Ed, in terms of your clients, how do they typically find you? What would you say is your top client acquisition channel? Would you say it's more digital marketing, inbound, outbound, or is it a mix of a lot of things currently?
So our main marketing channel would be organic search. That's how most of our users find us. And that is actually the biggest lead generator for us. I would say that over 90% of our traffic is organic SEO, and that's something which we're really proud of. And it's something we put a lot of time and effort into. And it's also sort of happened that way really because we are a startup and we have a limited budget. So we really tried to make use of, I guess, the most cost-effective way we can bring consistent bookings and conversions into the site.
Oh, that's awesome. And I think it's great for a startup with everything you guys have been doing, especially, you can definitely see that it's paying off and how Tutti is positioned as one of the key players in this market. So it's incredible what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
Yes. So now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about the website. So what would you say are the major strengths of the company website? And then where are there opportunities for room for improvement as well?
Well, I'd say we have a lot of strengths, actually. One of the biggest market segments we cater for are video and film and TV. We help them find locations. And in the context of that, one thing our site does incredibly well is we have huge amounts of filters and data available for each one of our locations. This means that it's very, very easy for people to search for very sort of specific and quite niche terms, which they might be looking for in a location. And because we have so much of this data available, it makes it very easy for these video producers to find the spaces they're looking for. On that as well, it also means that our search is a lot more powerful. So we have the ability to search for anything, and that will search not only through the sort of normal basic filters, but actually through a lot more of this detailed information, which allows for some quite deep searching, which our competitors don't have.
Wow, that's awesome. I really love the aspect of where you're mentioning, where you have the amount of data to where you can be able to get very concise results with being able to filter for, the data available on locations. That's a major game changer, especially for those who are looking for your service as well.
Yeah. So
now we're going to switch gears and we're going to talk about you as a leader. So with being the head of marketing in a startup, what do you do on a daily basis? Who is your team? Who do you report to? What does an average day look like for you?
Wow, that's a good question. I think every day is different in the startup world. It's always very high intensity and things change up a lot. But really, I work very closely with the founder, Gabriel. and him and I will work closely together. And underneath me, I have a small team of freelancers who help out with all of our different activities, but mainly they're focused on content production and SEO. So I manage that small team, and we have some consultants we refer to as well.
That's awesome. Seems like you guys got a powerhouse too, especially with being able to cross-collaborate and being able to bounce ideas off. Seems like a great environment overall.
It is, yeah. We are a remote team, which makes it a little harder, but that's kind of the nature of where we are as a team in the startup. We still do regularly meet up in person, which I think is really great. It's something I love to do, and I think a lot of good stuff comes out from in-person meetings and brainstorming sessions.
Yeah, it does. Definitely. Yeah. So now I'm going to send you some rapid fire questions. Are you ready?
Yeah, go on.
All right. Awesome. So if there were no boundaries in technology, what would be the one thing that you would want to have fixed in your role today as a marketer?
It would be a even better search system for our site to automate a lot of the processes which we have going on behind the scenes. So when it comes to all of this data we have, which is amazing, actually just making that as natural as possible so that people can search anything they want and they get really incredibly relevant results straight away. That would be fantastic.
Yes, that would be very fantastic. Hopefully artificial intelligence will come up with a tool like this.
Yeah, it's on our radar. We think it's possible. It just takes a bit more time and money to implement.
Yes, it does. Now, what is the last book that you read? And if it's not a book, then what is the last podcast that you listened to or audiobook?
Yes. Sorry, I was just reminding myself of the name of it. The last book I read was Humankind by Rutger Bregman. This was not really a startup-related book, as I often do read, but actually it was one of the best books I've read for a very, very long time. And it gave a really insightful, optimistic view on humanity, which I found fascinating.
Oh, that does sound very fascinating. I'm going to check that out. Sounds really good.
You should. It's a great book.
Oh, sweet. Okay, now I'm really excited. Awesome. Now, what is the one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you could go back to your first day at Tutti? What is it that you would tell yourself?
I thought quite a lot about this question before coming on. And actually, the one thing I would say to myself is do more deeper research more quickly. So I think often as marketers, we're quite eager to sort of get stuck in and get stuff done. And I think we all appreciate and understand the value of research. But I think in hindsight, actually taking more time at the beginning, if you can, to go deeper into your research and learn much more, I think saves a lot of time in the future. Now, we don't always have that luxury, right? But I think if I could do that, I would definitely go back to that and do more deeper research at the beginning.
I think that's a really great advice for all of our marketers, especially for anyone who is, in a new role or transitioning into a new role where in the beginning, it's always overwhelming with the amount of, research and learning you have to do. But that probation period is what that is there for, to where, do the extra research, do the extra learning. That way, after that, you're more equipped and you are able to understand, okay, this is what I know what our market is. This is what I know that our audience is that we're focusing on. So that I 100% agree with you. I live and die by that rule.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. We're at the end of our interview today, and I want to thank you so much for joining us on the podcast. But I also want to give you the last word. If someone were to forget about everything we've talked about in your interview today, what are the things that you want them to be able to know in terms of, how do you, as a marketer, go to learn, grow, and keep up to date? That way, our audience can be able to follow your tips and your suggestions that you have.
LinkedIn for me. LinkedIn is a great tool and a great resource, and being able to follow so many people who have so much insightful information in different industries is really powerful. I've got a selection of people which I love to follow and check in for updates on a weekly basis, and that's a really great driver of my growth and my passion for marketing.
Awesome. Sweet. Well, thank you again so much for joining us. It was a pleasure. And for all of our listeners out there, check us out next week on Pathmonk Presents.